Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Warwick's Couch Surfing event. I'm Liz Fenton, and I'm here with Lisa Steinke. She's my co-author of 7 novels and also my best friend of a lot of years. I don't feel like saying how many years today. They can just guess. But anyway, our latest novel, How to Save a Life, comes out very soon on July 14th. And it's a dark, heart-pounding love story with a Groundhog Day twist. So we're so excited to be talking to other authors here. And we have a fantastic author today. And we're so happy to partner with Warwick. So Julie, why don't you talk a little bit about Warwick's?
Sounds good. Well, first of all, I want to thank Liz and Lisa for putting together the idea for couch surfing. We could not do this, could not have done it without you guys. So kudos to you for coming up with the idea, and we love that you partnered with us. So thank you for doing that. And Leah, welcome to Warwick's. It's really great to have you here for this event. So some of you ladies, I see some very familiar names. Hi, Mary Lee. And so tune me out for a minute because you've heard this over and over again, but I need to tell this to the people who are just joining us for the first time. Warwick's is located in La Jolla, San Diego, California. Some people like to know that because you may be tuning in from someplace else besides our local area here. We are actually open for business right now. So we're doing, face masks, social distancing. You can come in and browse. And then any other way that you can get a book, you can get it from Warwick's. You can call us on the phone and we'll ship it to you. You can pick it up. You can order it online. So we are your alternative to that other online thing that's out there. You can get books from Warwick's and support a local business. So we so appreciate all of you showing up and supporting authors when their new books are coming out. This is a tough time to have books coming out. So we so appreciate you all being here. And with that, I'll pass it to you, ladies.
Okay. Well, Leah, congratulations. Your book just came out, and I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about you.
Thank you.
Leah Konen is a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where she studied journalism and English literature. She's the author of several young adult novels, including Love and Other Train Wrecks and The Romantics. She lives in Brooklyn, and I'm going to butcher this, Saugerties, New York.
You got it. You did not butcher it. You got it. Congrats.
That's quite amazing.
With her husband, their daughter Eleanor, and their dog Farley. All the Broken People is her first thriller, and it published yesterday. So congratulations. I'm going to pass you over to Lisa, who's going to put you in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Oh, and
get ready.
One quick note is that my daughter Eleanor is teething. So if you hear like bloody murder screams, it's not anyone actually acting out the plot of the book. It's a tooth pushing through a very soft baby gums. So hopefully she will stay quiet, but we never know.
Right. It's a painful thing. So she needs to scream. It's fine.
Oh man. Yeah. So that is,
so you have your hands full. If you have a teething and you had a baby, you have a baby.
Yeah.
And a
No.
Oh.
No, just one child. Oh dear God.
Oh, gotcha.
Teething 7-month-olds.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's painful. All right. Well, let's get into the hot seat questions that Liz thinks I have for you. Marie Claire said that All the Broken People was one of the books to pre-order in 2020. Carolyn Kepnes raved that it's remarkably insidious and extremely readable. Can you tell us what All the Broken People is about?
Yes. So All the Broken People follows Lucy, a New York woman who's living in Brooklyn, and she needs to get out. She is in a very bad, toxic and abusive relationship, and she's looking for escape from her boyfriend. She needs to go somewhere where he's not going to be able to find her. So she decides to kind of hide in plain sight, 2 hours north in upstate New York. And she gets there, she doesn't know anybody, and she kind of quickly develops this very close friendship with the couple who lives next door. They're an artsy couple, they're kind of just really alluring, kind of intoxicating, and they become quick friends. But it turns out that John and Vera, these new friends of hers, they actually have some secrets of their own. And a couple months into their friendship, they drop this bombshell that they need to get out of town, and they want her help to fake John's death and kind of run away with them. And against probably her better judgment, she says yes, because she is just kind of so desperate to really find a community and find someone that she can count on. And of course, as you may guess, the plan kind of quickly goes awry, and the mystery kind of unfolds from there.
It is such a good idea. And I was
Thank
reading
you.
a little, yeah. And so I'm wondering, what came first, the plot of the book or the characters, or like how is your like process and when you're coming up with your book idea?
So I feel like it's different with every book. With this one, I was actually on a writing retreat to work on YA. It was through Highlights magazine. So it was like specifically for children's literature, but I was between deadlines. And so I just decided to play around with adult because I'd always kind of wanted to dip my toe in. And I had this idea, really this image. I was up in the mountains. I had this image of 3 people going on a hike, 2 people going up ahead, and the person who kind of gets left a little bit behind hears a scream and kind of doesn't know what is going on and rushes up to try to figure it out. So that's all I had. I wrote the scene, and then I kind of from there tried to figure out, okay, what would cause this? What would make these people go on this hike? Why would someone scream? Like, what's going on? And that scene is still kind of the scene in All the Broken People that they use to fake John's death. So the plot came second, actually, but not far behind. But I just had this kind of visceral image. I really wanted to set a mystery in the woods. I mean, it's classic for a reason. And, I love it up here. It's very inspiring, but the rural setting is also kind of isolating and kind of, creepy at the same time. So I really wanted to explore that.
I think it's so fascinating how different authors write. We've spoken with authors that write the last scene first, and so after you, I guess, came up with your plot, then what happens next?
I write in order. I don't know. Okay. I don't know about you two, but I cannot, I can't go out of order. So I have the scenes. Well, this book, it was several rewrites. So I changed the ending and I changed a lot of plot points multiple times. But even when I know what's going on, because I always write an outline, even if it changes, I have to go in order. I can't even imagine jumping around. I have friends who do that. What do you two do?
It makes my head spin. We're very linear. At least I would say I definitely am. I don't even know, Liz, like if you would.
Well, we are what you are.
I guess I just decide. I'm so linear. I don't think I could do it any other way. But could you? If like we just decided to say one day, let's write out of order.
Yeah, so I'm very linear when we're writing the book, but when we're in edits, I can be more flexible. So Lisa needs to likes to. He doesn't need to. You could do. She likes to go in order, and then I can go to different parts of the book and even work backwards or go. But you have strength. She has strengths in editing that I don't have that are very, very useful. But one of mine is I can go in and do that because you like to go through the edits and you'll appreciate. When you get that big letter, and she likes to go through them in order, where I can just go to the 80% of the book and do a massive edit, do an edit there and then go somewhere else and then go somewhere else.
Yeah, I do edit in order. Do you, Leah, or can you bounce around at that point?
So I have a very serious revision process where I take the editor's memo and then I write it into my own memo in the form of a checklist. Divided by act. It's very it's actually super organized. So
can you do that for us?
Yeah. Can we hire you?
the patented Leah Konen revision method.
You could have a
I
whole
actually,
side business doing that for
no,
people. I think.
I got a friend hooked on it too, and she does it now. But I don't like to miss things, and it also can feel a bit overwhelming when you get your notes, and it's like 5 pages of just paragraphs and paragraphs, and there's always those cursory paragraphs at the beginning. They're like, "We love the book; it's fantastic," and then they're like, "Let me break down every single thing that could possibly be wrong with it." Here we go.
Right.
So I just put everything on that list, like the tiniest thing, like, oh, make it so like this character is brunette now. Like I put every single thing that I'm going to change on the list, and then I get this like sweet satisfaction of checking everything off as I go through, and it makes me feel like I'm making progress. But I do go in order as well. I also have a color coding system.
Oh,
wow. See, this is getting me really excited. This would work really well for me because I have my own kind of process, my linear, like I'll kind of write, I'll make a list, and I think Liz too, but
I love a good checklist. I love a good checklist.
Each like, well, now that I might as well just go into the craziness of it. Yeah, each chapter is like, there's revise 1, revise 2, and final for each revision. So I change the status of each kind of chapter.
And the color? Do you change the color?
I write in Scrivener, which is an awesome program. And so, I color code it and I change the color. And then when I jump in there and I see that I'm massively behind, like as I am right now, because I had a book come out. So I'm way behind on my revisions for book 2. If anyone from Putnam is listening, sorry. But then it helps me to see that like, okay, I'm behind, but I have, all these things color coded green. So that at least I can look at it and say, okay, I've done this. And I feel a little less overwhelmed because a book is a lot. It's like a lot of words. It's a lot of pages. Yeah. It can kind of get you, so I just have to do that like kind of step-by-step thing with it.
So how long did it take you to write it before it got to anybody else? Like, and then do you write it and then edit it, or do you kind of write and edit as you go?
So it took me, it's hard to say because the way I actually did it was I wrote about 90 pages and then I sent it out to agents. And the fabulous Elizabeth Weed, who I know is your agent, she was one of the ones who was interested. And so she and I actually worked through that first draft together. So I had a lot of input from her during the first draft. Because I kind of just knew that I was making a leap from YA to adult, and I was changing genres as well. And I was like, if I can get an agent who's good and who can, be my sounding board for this and who knows, what's working here, I'd love to do that. And of course she was, fantastic. She never pushed it in a direction I didn't want it to go in. But that was my process with this one. And we together revised the book probably more times than she likes to remember, because I think it was a hard process for both of us.
I do love that about her. I love that about her though. Like there are agents out there that don't read it at all. Like, and I know she kind of acquired you, and so you did that together. But even at this point with us, like we're now 7 books in, like she's still reading and helping, and she's a good editor. I think.
Absolutely.
Which is nice to have in an agent.
So I think once she was involved, I think it was probably like about a year to do the first draft, and then obviously work with an editor as well. So it's always, now I'm on, a little bit different schedule because it was a 2-book deal. So I had the next one kind of, my editors loved the idea and they were like, here, go forward with this. So that one wrote a bit faster, and I actually wrote the whole thing while I was pregnant with the baby who is teething now. So that was kind of a very funny, like 7 to 8 month process. It was a lot faster, but I was able to do it.
But you got it done before you gave birth. sounds like.
I got it done like 3 days before my due date. And
Wow.
then she was 10 days late. And I think it was because the whole time I was like, don't come early, don't come early, don't come early. I'm not done with this book. And I just like sent all those messages. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to stick around for 10 extra.
Like, I'll
Nice
just
of
sit here
her.
then. I want to just butt in here for a second. Julie's put buy links for your book. She's also put buy links for our event at Warwick's on July 15th. But she also has signed book plates for you from you. So if you guys do purchase a book tonight, you'll get a signed book plate in it. So it'll essentially be a signed book. So the link is in the chat. And also just a little reminder, if you guys have any questions, that the chat is the place to ask. I know we've got some regulars here, and I know you guys got good
And you
questions.
guys, your questions are always better than mine because you think more like a reader and I think like an author. So I have like all these author questions and I don't know if those are interesting to you. So definitely jump in. I do want to know, you mentioned you have like 5 YA books. Why the switch to adult and why adult thriller specifically?
So I was just realizing that as much as I loved YA and I really loved especially the community and the readers who are amazing, I was personally reading all thrillers. Like I was devouring these books. I could not stop. And I'm also a huge horror movie fan. My sister is actually in the chat here. Hello. She and I.
Is she?
Yeah.
Kimberly? No. Who?
Yes, you
Who
can
is it?
tell.
Oh,
Kimberly.
yes.
The one who has the same face as me, who's
I was like, she looks a lot like you, but then I said it, and I'm like, what if it's not her?
So we would spend our formative years renting all the horror movies from Blockbuster, where I also worked, so they were free. Back when that was exciting. Now you can watch anything on Netflix, but
Right.
back in those days, 5 free rentals a week was a really big deal. So anyway, that was kind of where all my interests were. And so I started to just ask myself, well, why am I not writing this? And it was scary. I had, my agent at the time, she was a YA agent fully. And so it was a huge shift and it was a big leap. And it was, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But as soon as I got in there and actually just let myself do it, it felt just completely right. It felt like, okay, this is where I really want to be. And this is where I want to be going forward. So I'm super happy I made the switch, but everyone asks this question because they're like, okay.
It's like
your last book was about 2 kids falling in love on a train in a snowstorm.
Right.
So.
But clearly your movie past and your love of that, because I was reading like people have said there's like a Hitchcock thing happening. So like if you have all in your book now, if you have all of that experience and love, then it's going to come out on the page. So maybe
I felt like I was training for this like my whole life. Like every movie I'd been watching, every book I've been reading, just like for years and years and years, I felt like it was like leading to this book.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure that, you both know as authors, like when you feel like you're in it and, it's still hard work every day, but when you feel like you're in your stride, it's such a good feeling. It's, and just to kind of like, to have that book sitting on, the proverbial shelf or whatever drawer, and to know that it's a book you would want to pick up in a bookstore yourself. Like you would, you're like, this is the book I am dying to read. It's just a great feeling.
It's hard to do to break into suspense right now too. I mean, it's a crowded, and it's the idea to think of something fresh, and you did, and you're in, so it's gotta be your lane.
It just felt like this is where I was meant to be. And I know I feel like every year it gets trickier because the bar keeps raising just in terms of like these plots of these books. They're just so fantastically twisty. I think readers are incredibly, incredibly smart in this genre. They're super clever. They're eagle-eyed. they can see stuff coming a mile away. So you have to just be a million steps ahead. And even with that, you know, a lot of them are still going to kind of see all your, all the tricks up your sleeve. So yeah, it's definitely something tricky to break into, but I think it's the same thing, you know, when I was writing YA was really saturated as well. So to me, it's really like you just have to kind of separate yourself from all that industry talk and just write the book that you want to write, and, you know, hope that it can find an audience and it can connect with people.
We say that all, what you just said, we say that all the time. You have to, people always ask us for advice when we say you have to write the book you want to write. You can't chase the market, because
and by the time it comes out, the market will have completely changed.
Right. Yes. People don't realize that. There's a couple questions, but I think one lends itself to kind of what we were just talking about. Susan is asking, who is the agent editor you mentioned? How do you know if an agent editor really understands your book?
So the agent is Elizabeth Weed. She's at the book group. She's the greatest agent of all time. So I can't say enough awesome things about her. So how do you know that the agent connects? It's really a gut feeling, I think. With this book, I actually had the query process went really well, and I had a lot of offers. So I was talking to several different agents, and all of them with great track records in these sorts of books. And it's just it's kind of like an agent is a long-term relationship in your life, and it is a professional relationship, but it's personal too, because they're kind of the ones holding your hand through all these ups and downs. So you just have to feel like you talk to them on the phone or you meet in person, you know, depending on where you are, and you just kind of go with, I would say, a mix of what their track record is, but mostly what your gut is telling you, that they understand your book. Because, you know, you will have calls sometimes where it's such a great agent, but they maybe see the book a little bit differently than you did, or, you know, they maybe want to push it in a different direction, or this thing's happening in the market, or what have you, but you kind of have to go with just what you're feeling.
Yeah, I agree. There's one more question here. What is your favorite thriller novel and favorite thriller film of all time? Desert Island picks.
Desert Island picks. Oh, yeah. Boy.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Favorite thriller movie of all time is gotta be Vertigo. I have watched it so many times, and I think easily the first 6 times I watched it, I forgot some of the twists, because it just keeps kind of throwing them at you. And I think there's something just so deliciously creepy about the whole situation with with this woman, and she's pretending to be another woman and all of that. So I would say that's probably my favorite thriller novel of all time. I think I'm gonna have to go with Sharp Objects, Gillian Flynn. It was one of the first, I think, modern, newer thrillers that hooked me and got me into, this kind of passion for these books. And I know Gone Girl is her big book that just took off, but there's something so special, I think, about Sharp Objects and the places that she was willing to really push that book. If you recommend that book to anyone, you have to be you have to have a strong stomach and kind of be okay with reading these things.
I agree. But I think it's her strongest book too.
It's so good. And it's just, I was actually really happy to see it get the HBO adaptation and so many people kind of discover it, because, a lot of people probably just think Gone Girl is her book, and, that's it. So that's probably my favorite. But there's so many great newer thrillers coming out. I think a recent favorite that totally blew me away is My Sister the Serial Killer, which have you guys read that?
I have.
I was not expecting, because there's no mystery. Like you know going in that her sister is a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's somehow she manages to create this incredible suspense that it's just so well done. And then another one, this is kind of towing the line between thriller and literary, is The Need by Helen Phillips, which is about, it's really kind of, it's like a thriller about motherhood with these like parallel universe element. It kind of defies genre, but it is an incredible book. So I highly recommend it.
I am writing that one down. I don't know that one. That sounds really good.
I don't understand, like, that book.
I have it. Yeah, I have it. It's on my TBR. It's kind of dystopian, right? It's kind of got like
it's
a
so
little
hard to
dystopian
pinpoint.
feel.
So right. So when you start reading it though, it feels just like a straight like thriller horror. You basically, the first page kind of hooked me. This woman she's taking care of two kids. She's in her living room and she hears someone in her house, and that's how it starts. So it starts with just this really tense, tight suspense, and then it does expand into these kind of other kind of genres. But I read it before I was a mom, but she captures the kind of horrors and joys of motherhood, like unlike anything I've ever kind of read.
Kimberly's asking any talk of movie or TV adaptations for this book.
Yes. So the book actually had a lot of TV studios involved in it last year, and went to a TV auction. And then as book and TV things happen, there was studio changes, and now we're kind of going back to the drawing board. But the exciting news is that it's now being kind of pursued for film. So right now I am working with a awesome director and writer, a woman who will remain nameless because nothing is announced yet, but basically she's fantastic. She does these incredible feminist films. She read the book and she loved it. So we had a call actually on Mother's Day, on my first Mother's Day. It was a really fun way to celebrate. And she's going to be taking it, pitching it to studios very soon, actually.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Are we back to me, or do you have...
Back to you, girl.
Back to me, because I want to ask about the cover.
Sorry, that's my dog.
Okay, I'm like, that's not your child.
No, that's my dog. He's under the bed. Maybe he'll come. Oh, there he is. Oh, I'm gonna let him into the other room. I'm gonna show him to
okay,
you
yeah, I want to see.
Because he's really cute dog for all the dog lovers. This is Farley.
Yeah, he's really cute.
Don't growl.
He
All right,
knows how cute
he
is too.
He does. He absolutely
He
does.
knows. He's like, I'm cute. I'm gonna be part of this. All right,
Okay,
cover. It's a great cover. What was your? Oh, you happen to have it there too. Look at you. What was your involvement in it?
So I sent through kind of the things that I loved in Coverland, the things I really connected with and the things that I didn't connect with. And I think hopefully any editor and publishing house is going to take that into account and try to do something that they think is great for the market and for the book, but also that feels right to you. So that was my involvement. And we actually had a different cover first, which I really liked. It was really beautiful, but it wasn't just quite striking enough. And so then when this one came through, I mean, it was just like you can't look away. So, and I think it really captures what is going on for Lucy in the book. Like, she is in this setting that is so beautiful and is kind of idyllic and this kind of fantasy for her, this escape. But she also is very isolated and she's very kind of lonely, and she's like looking out at, you know, what is going on and trying to figure out how she fits in. So I was just in love with the cover as soon as they showed it to me.
They did a nice job with it. Also wondering about title. Has this always been the title?
So essentially the title was Broken People. the whole time I was writing and querying and pitching and all that. And we went through just a million rounds on trying to think of if there was a better one, because so many books in this genre, you know, are very, very direct, like, or have the word girl in it, or, you know, are just very not like this title. Mm-hmm. So we went back and forth, and then eventually just decided that this slight tweak on it, All the Broken People, kind of just felt right for the book. But that said, it's in the UK, which is coming out in just a few weeks, has a different title. It's called One White Lie over there.
Ooh.
That's a good one too. That's interesting how that'll be titled differently.
I know. It's not the ideal situation, but it's also just kind of what works for a market here and what works for a market over there is so different. So you just kind of have to trust that your editors know the answers to that. So
yeah, for sure. And lie is in a lot of title. People like that.
And lies, and more lies, and lies.
There's so many lies. There's lies upon lies upon lies.
Lied.
Do you have comment or anything before I keep going?
Susan said good luck with film, and Joni Kearney saying hi, great interview. Sounds like she knows you.
Thank you.
What can you tell us a little bit about the article you wrote for Marie Claire? Let's stop prying into the personal lives of writers, shall we?
Yes. So a funny thing happened when I published, or not even when I published this book, when I started pitching it to people. So basically there is an element of domestic abuse in the book. It is not at all the sole focus of the book, but it is part of Lucy's story, and it is what pushes her to leave town and to start this new life for herself. And so it's an important element. So I was on one of the film phone calls actually, and I was just totally gobsmacked because I was in the middle of, you know, talking about how they were going to adapt it, what they were going to do with the screenwriter. And they're just like, oh yeah, you handled that really well. Like, did that happen to you? And I'm just like, okay. Like, it caught me so off guard. You know, I said no. And honestly, like, looking back, I almost feel like I wish I would have had the confidence just to be like, that's a really personal question that you maybe shouldn't ask people. But I said no, and I was honest, and, you know, the call moved on, and I felt like, okay, this was just a one-off. And it just kept happening. Like, so many people, and people like meant well. It wasn't to try to like put me in a weird position. I think they just genuinely wanted to know. But so I started to talk to other women writers, and I'm like, is this happening to you as well? And when I started asking, the answers were just incredible. I mean, I could not believe it. People were getting asked about all kinds of sensitive issues, but about everything. Like, I think one of the funnier ones was Elle Marr, who wrote The Missing Sister, great thriller that came out this year. People just now assume she's a twin because there's a twin, and like main character is a twin in her book. So there were another fun one from the article was that one woman who wrote historical romance about the Brontes keeps getting asked if the sex scenes are based on her own experience. So this is kind of just something I found that was happening across the board to women. And when I'm in a great group of fellow debut writers on Facebook, and we're all very honest with each other. And when I put the question out to them, I mean, I had like 4 or 5 examples in that story, but the actual conversation was like 50 different people, you know, there's only like a little over 100 people in the group. And I mean, every single person had a story.
Yeah, they do it to us too. I mean, it's I think that they want you to be it's really where they want to attach something to you from the book.
Yeah, and I think I just was trying to I wonder, is this happening at the same frequency to male writers? And I just don't think it is. You know, I think that male writers are kind of given the permission and the trust that they can write about something that maybe is not a direct lift from real life. I mean, we're all writing things that are inspired by our lives, and we're all writing what we know to a certain point. But I think we trust someone like Stephen King to write these completely devilish characters and these horrible things, and we don't have to say, hey, Stephen King, did you do this? Did someone do this to you? Like, where did this come from? And so it's been interesting just to, people have been reaching out to me and just saying like, oh yeah, this has happened to me as well. And I hope that we can stop doing that and just, kind of let authors be authors. And I think the interesting thing is, a couple of people I featured in the article, they said that their books were inspired by their personal trauma. And some of them felt totally comfortable sharing and opening up about it, and some of them don't. So that's the other thing you kind of have to keep in mind, is that even if it is inspired by real life, some of these things are traumatic, and you might be, asking an author to kind of talk about something that could be very triggering.
I thought that it was a really good point, and I was happy that you wrote the article, because as I was reading through, I'm like, this is so true, and this is it's not something that needs to be going on when we're talking to an author about her book.
Exactly.
And you're right, it doesn't happen to male authors. So it's an important article, I think, to write. I just have one more question, which is, you had mentioned that it was a 2-book deal. And I'm curious if you can tell us anything about your next book.
Yes, I can. So it doesn't have a title yet because we're trying to figure that one out. But it follows 3 women who are friends, kind of loose friends from Brooklyn. They all connected with each other because they were all going through very difficult breakups or divorces in some case right around the same time. So they're loosely connected New York friends. They kind of bonded over this. They decide to go upstate they're going to head to the Adirondacks for kind of girls' weekend. And on the way, as they're driving, their car breaks down and lands them in a different location that they were not supposed to be at. They kind of try to make the most of it. They quickly grab VRBO or Airbnb for the night, and they end up heading out to a local bar, and one of the women goes missing. She does not come home. They cannot find her. There's no trace of her. So the next morning, when the 2 other friends go to call the police and try to get something started here, they realize that no one by that name exists in New York at all. They don't have any photos of her. There's no record of her on social. And so they're kind of struggling to find their missing friend, but also understand who she actually is.
Wow. That sounds good.
So, yeah. So that was a really fun one. The idea kind of came to me because I actually, talking about things based on life, my husband and I were driving to Bonnaroo Music Festival, which is a long 14-hour drive, and our car broke down on the side of the road, and we ended up finding ourselves in the coolest town that we never would have gone to before, and we had just a wonderful night, and it was so much fun. But the town was almost eerily perfect. Like, it felt like a Twilight Zone episode. Like, it had this like old 1950s kind of style downtown, and everything was walkable. There was a presidential library. Like, we're like, how did we manage to break down in the cutest town in America and have this fantastic evening? So that's kind of where the idea came from. Like, what if that happened to a group of friends, but then instead of having this magical evening, something actually goes wrong, and what could cause that, and what would be the ramifications of that?
Right. I love that. And I love the inspiration. Tracy's commenting about the article. She says, sounds similar to the double standard of men not being asked about work-life balance with regard to family. And I would agree.
I think it's so true. It's just, with male writers and just male professionals, we just kind of always give them the benefit of the doubt. We just trust that they've got their family situations under control. we trust that they're, you know, committed to their work and that they're capable and able to do these things. And with women, we don't give them that credit a lot of times. So I think that's a great comment. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, and Julia is saying she's excited for your next book too. So am I, Julia. It sounds damn good. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
So I am at Leah Konen on Twitter, Instagram, just at Leah Konen, very easy. And then on Facebook, I'm Leah Konen Author. And I promise that if you go onto Instagram, there's also cute photos of my dog and my baby, which is a real enticement. So yeah, that's probably the most fun place you will find
and your
me.
website. What's your website?
Website is leahkonen.com.
Okay.
So just my name for everything. Keep it real simple.
You're lucky, girl. You got your name for everything.
I know. I have an unusual name, and I've already like started claiming my daughter's name on things. Like I like claimed her email because I was like, why not? Let's just get it. Let's just get this for her if she ever wants it.
Yeah, I love what a forward thinker you are. That's pretty amazing. All right. Well, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. Just a reminder, you guys can find us at Lisa and Liz on Instagram, and Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinke on Facebook or lizandlisa.com. And you can go there and click on the events tab, and you can see all the events coming up. And I'm going to pass to Julie.
Okay, well, Kimberly, you guys are cracking me up. You guys are waving to Leah. Are you seeing that, Leah?
Oh, absolutely. I'm waving right back.
Okay, good. It was really cute. So that's what I love about the Zoom room. It's like you can see everybody doing stuff. So it's really fun. So if we can't be live in a room together, this is the next best thing, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, thank you, Leah. It was so great hearing from you. I can't wait until you get to tell us who that woman is that's pitching your book to all of those studios. So we just have to wait for that. That's going to be really exciting. Okay, again, everybody, oops,
I
are you
think
there?
I think she lost sound.
My computer just flipped out and started playing songs for no reason. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just quickly said I can't wait to for when you can tell us who that mysterious woman is that is pitching your book to all the studios. So we'll be looking for that.
Hopefully we'll have good news on that front, and then I will be able to share it.
Yeah, we'll be looking for that on the Instagram or the Twitter page, right? Okay, anyways, thank you everybody that was here with us tonight. I put some links in. You can always go to the Warwick's website to find any books that you want to order from us. We so appreciate all you customers out there showing up for these events. And we'll see you guys. What's our next one, you guys? Is it next week?
We have Kara Wall next Thursday.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. All the Beloved? Or Dearly Beloved?
The Dearly Beloved.
The Dearly Beloved, yeah, So next Thursday.
Yeah, so that'll be super fun.
Thank you so much, Liz and Lisa, and thank you, Warwick's. It is such a wild time to launch a book right now, but all of this work that you are doing, and I know it is a lot of work, like authors appreciate it so much because you guys are doing everything to kind of get our books out there in these unprecedented times. So just thank you so much.
Oh, you're so
welcome.
Our pleasure. Yeah. You're welcome.
It's absolutely our pleasure. And we just want to thank everybody that shows up every week. We see you, girls, ladies, girls.
and don't forget, Liz and Lisa, if I put the link up for you guys for the event too. So
yeah,
hopefully somebody will, if you don't feel like coming in, at least buy the book.
Yeah, and if they can't come in on the 15th, we'll have it on Facebook Live too, so you guys can tune in.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Well, till next Thursday, we hope you have an amazing 4th of July and celebrate and relax with your family. Leah, we can't wait to see your book soar. It sounds amazing. I'm gonna start it tonight. I'm very excited about it. So
thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for coming. It's just been awesome to be here and be chatting.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.